The year is 1918. The First World War has finally ended, leaving behind 17 million dead and a world forever changed. The Allied leaders have gathered at Versailles after their victory, hoping to ensure that such devastation will never happen again. But instead, they sow the seeds of the next Great War. In January 1919, the war's victorious leaders convened at the Palace of Versailles to draft a treaty that would bring lasting peace. The Big Four led the charge. U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, British Prime Minister David Lloyd George, French Premier Georges Clemenceau, and Italian Prime Minister Vittorio Orlando. Their task? Monumental: to create a new world order while addressing the immense losses caused by the war. But differing goals soon emerged between the powerful leaders, and they had to navigate tactfully between these extremes. After great debate, the treaty was finalized on June 28, 1919. For Germany, the deal was devastating. The defeated nation lost 13% of its territory, including Alsace-Lorraine to France, and lands to the newly formed Poland. Its military was gutted, reduced to 100,000 men, with no armaments allowed. Then came the reparations, 132 billion gold marks, an amount so staggering it crippled Germany's economy, thereby sending the German public into the throes of chaos and despair. The harsh terms of Versailles didn't just fail to prevent another war, they made it almost inevitable. Italy, 1919. A nation struggling to salvage themselves from the First World War. The Treaty of Versailles left the country disillusioned. Though Italy fought with the victorious Allies, promises were not kept. A bitter betrayal in the eyes of many Italians. Rife with economic collapse, mass unemployment, and rising socialist movements, Italy became a powder keg of unrest. Strikes and riots became commonplace. The liberal government, unable to restore order, seemed doomed. It was in this unrest that Benito Mussolini arose. A nationalist, Mussolini founded the Fasci di Combattimento, or fascist combat groups, in 1919. Originally a loose coalition of disgruntled veterans and anti-socialists, the movement soon grew far more powerful. The fascists grew popular by rivaling socialism and promising to restore Italy's greatness. Backed by industrialists, landowners, and the middle class, Mussolini's black shirt militias, known as the squadristi, used violence and intimidation to crush opposition. By 1922, Mussolini's fascist party had grown into a formidable political force. On October 28th, thousands of black shirts marched on Rome, demanding that King Victor Emmanuel III appoint Mussolini as prime minister. Fearing civil war and believing he could control Mussolini, the king relented. Benito Mussolini, at just 39 years old, became Italy's youngest prime minister. Once in power, Mussolini wasted no time dismantling democracy. Over the next few years, he passed laws that restricted freedoms, banned opposition parties, and centralized power in his hands. Mussolini's fascism glorified the state, promoted militarism, and sought to revive the glory of the Roman Empire. Young Italians were indoctrinated through education and propaganda, while the military expanded in preparation for conquests. By the mid-1930s, Mussolini had embarked on a path of aggression, invading Ethiopia in 1935 and later annexing Albania. These moves were designed to bolster his image and Italy's prestige, but they also foreshadowed the alliances and conflicts to come. Germany, 1919. A nation in ruins, burdened with defeat and humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles. The war had ended, but the struggle for survival had just begun. Amid this turmoil, a small radical group emerged, promising strength, unity, and revenge. The Treaty of Versailles left Germany economically crippled and politically unstable. Stripped of its military power, forced to pay massive reparations, and blamed for the war, the German people grew resentful. The Weimar Republic, the new democratic government, struggled to hold the nation together. By 1923, hyperinflation devastated the economy. Families lost their savings overnight. Poverty and hunger spread across the nation, fueling anger and desperation. In this chaos, a former soldier named Adolf Hitler joined the German Workers' Party. Charismatic and ambitious, he quickly rose through the ranks, rebranding the party as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazis. The Nazis' message was simple: restore Germany's former glory, reject the Treaty of Versailles, and eliminate those deemed responsible for Germany's suffering. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in Munich. Inspired by Mussolini's March on Rome, he led the beer hall push, a failed coup that resulted in his arrest and the temporary downfall of the Nazi Party. During his imprisonment, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, outlining his vision for Germany's future, including extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and the need for Lebensraum, living space in the East. The 1929 stock market crash plunged Germany into deeper despair. The Great Depression led to massive unemployment, and faith in democracy crumbled. The Nazis seized this moment, offering jobs, stability, and a scapegoat. By the early 1930s, the Nazi Party became one of Germany's most powerful political forces. Their paramilitary wing, the SA, intimidated opponents, while Hitler's fiery speeches captivated the masses. In the 1932 elections, the Nazis won 37% of the vote, making them the largest party in the Reichstag. Though they lacked an outright majority, conservative politicians believed they could control Hitler. In January 1933, they made a fateful decision. Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. This moment marked the beginning of the end for German democracy. Within months, Hitler would consolidate his power, crush his opponents, and set Germany on the path to war. January 1933, Adolf Hitler is appointed Chancellor of Germany. Many believe he can be controlled, that his radicalism will be tempered by political reality. They are wrong. Just weeks into Hitler's chancellorship, disaster strikes. The Reichstag, Germany's parliament building, is engulfed in flames. A young Dutch communist is arrested, and the Nazis seize their opportunity. Hitler convinces President Hindenburg to sign an emergency decree. Civil liberties are suspended. Political opponents are arrested, and the Nazi grip on power tightens. March 1933. The Reichstag meets under Nazi pressure to vote on the Enabling Act, a law that would give Hitler the power to rule by decree without parliamentary approval. Amid intimidation and coercion, the act passes. Germany's democracy is effectively dead. The Nazi dictatorship begins. With total power in his grasp, Hitler moves swiftly. The Communist Party is outlawed. Trade unions are dissolved. Opposition parties are banned. Germany becomes a one-party state. The Nazi regime takes control of the media, education, and culture. Dissent is no longer tolerated. Only one ideology remains: National Socialism. By 1934, a new threat emerges, not from outside, but within. The SA, Hitler's own paramilitary force, has grown too powerful. Its leader, Ernst Röhm, seeks further revolution. Hitler decides he must act. On June 30th, 1934, Hitler orders a violent purge. The SA is crushed. Röhm is executed, and hundreds of perceived threats within the Nazi ranks are eliminated. This is the night of the long knives. August 2nd, 1934. President Hindenburg dies. Without hesitation, Hitler abolishes the presidency, declaring himself Führer and absolute ruler of Germany. The German military, once sworn to the Constitution, now pledges loyalty directly to Hitler. In just 18 months, Germany transformed from a fragile democracy into a totalitarian state. Hitler had consolidated power through fear, propaganda, and ruthless efficiency. The world was watching, but few realized the full danger that lay ahead.